been in unions. I'm not pro. I know some people are. I'm not. And if I were, many of the 18,000 plus people that just lost their jobs at Hostess, I wouldn't be all that pro-union either. Because I'm sure that union was telling them, oh, yeah, it's just a bluff. We'll take care of you. Now we'll see how long they get taken care of now that they're making zero money and they can't pay their union dues. Oh, yeah. We'll see, folks. Wonder, unless, of course, the wonderful, good potentate steps in and does a government takeover of Hostess. Oh, we got to have Twinkies. Got to have them. You wonder. Well, hey, I heard that there was a petition out there that you can sign telling the president to get involved and to save Hostess. Now, the funny thing is that the petition is online, and I'm not even going to tell you where it is, but it's a White House website. So Obama is telling you to sign a petition that's going to tell him to intervene on Hostess and save it. Ain't that slick?
You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
It is in response to a video, a film. This is in response to a video.
Internet video that we had nothing to do with.
That was spontaneous? Was it a planned attack? Was there a terrorist element to it?
This is a response to a hateful and offensive video.
The video and its influence on the protests that occurred in Cairo and Benghazi. In response to this video, it was the video that caused the unrest in Cairo, that precipitated some of the arrests in Benghazi, and it was sparked by the reaction to this video. The video was a precipitating cause to the unrest, specifically in Libya. Might take advantage of a situation that was brought about initially as a response to the video in question.
Natural protests that arose because of the outrage over the video.
You're totally correct that they spent 2 weeks telling us this was about a tape and that there was this riot outside the Benghazi consulate, which there wasn't.
Natural protests that arose because of the outrage over the video.
I was in chronic pain, and my family struggling to make ends meet, food and gas prices going up, even keeping my job was iffy. Then I learned about a new miracle drug made in Washington, D.C., Spenditol. Spenditol is Washington's answer to all the painful problems Americans face. How to borrow $800 billion for a stimulus that didn't create jobs or fix the economy? Spenditol.
Spenditol is not for everyone. Side effects may include a mountain of government debt piled on our kids, a sudden loss of freedoms, higher prices for everything, leaving our kids a lesser America than we had. Ask your doctor or congressman if your conscience is strong enough for Spenditol.
And it's so popular in Washington, we have to import trillions more of it from China. Spenditol makes you feel better now and pushes off the really bad stuff till later, for them to deal with.
Call the White House and Congress. Tell them, stop spending it all.
Feeling lonely this holiday season? Looking for little human interaction? Do you want to feel contact in certain special places?
Then why not go through security at an airport?
The TSA.
TSA agents are ready and standing by to give you a little something extra to feel thankful about this holiday season.
The TSA.
What are you waiting for? I want to check under your testicles.
Spending time with a TSA agent couldn't be easier. Simply book a flight departing from any American airport. When selected for a full body scanner,
Say no. You'll be pulled aside by a TSA agent, and that's when the fun begins. And you never know who your agent will be.
It could be me. Or me. Or even me.
But it's probably gonna be us. Take off your damn shoes.
The TSA. It's our business to touch yours.
Welcome to the Bureau of Womanhood Conformity. Independent thoughts are considered subversive because all must agree with our leader.
When it comes to women, preventative care should include coverage of contraceptive services such as birth control.
You see, if you don't believe government should pay for your birth control, you're not a real woman. Womanhood denied. If you refuse to accept that pregnancy is a punishment, you're denied as well.
I don't want them punished with a baby.
If you don't believe that abortions should be allowed for any reason, if you don't believe in aborting a child for being the wrong gender, and if you don't believe that stay-at-home mothers aren't real workers, you are not a real conformed woman.
His wife has actually never worked a day in her life. His wife has actually never worked a day in her life.
Finally, for your safety, if you oppose mandatory government health care, you will die.
They will be voting to say that women can die on the floor.
These standards and regulations were formed after our glorious victory in the war on women. Thank you for your cooperation and your conformity.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And we are back here on this Friday evening. It's Fun Fridays here on The Rod Eccles Show. We try to take things a little bit lighter on Fridays to celebrate our freedom, what's left of our freedom going into the weekend, because we don't want to think about heavy things, although we'll have to talk about some heavy things like what's going on in the Middle East and Israel. But here's something a little bit lighter and heavy at the same time. A green group is, and this is a Washington Examiner piece, green groups are ripping Obama for no-show on climate change. Environmentalists aren't too impressed with President Obama heading into a second term. In his first press conference since re-election, Obama conceded that climate change legislation was not a top priority. Of course not, because it's the economy, stupid. But be that as it may, this guy and his wife have taken so many damn trips on Air Force One and Air Force, well, it's not Air Force Two, it is Air Force One. And they have a Secretary of State that has done more traveling than any other Secretary of State in history. I would say that they're not really concerned about global warming. I would say that they're not really concerned, that the Obama administration is not really concerned about man-made climate change. Not if he's flying all over the place all the time. This guy doesn't like to stay in Washington. Really, truth be known, I can't blame him for not wanting to be there. I wouldn't want to be there. I can't blame him for not wanting to be cooped up in the White House all the time. I fully understand that. It would drive me nuts to always be in the White House like that. My outside activity or outside time would be walking from, the main resident or the living quarters in the White House to the West Wing. Outside, no. To be surrounded, basically by bulletproof glass and all that kind of stuff 24/7, it would drive me insane. Now, with that said, I wouldn't want to be president, because I know that that's what would happen if I were to be elected. I know some people are saying, well, you wouldn't be elected anyway, Rod. You want to make a bet? Because I wouldn't be, well, no, I probably wouldn't get elected, because I wouldn't be afraid to tell the truth whether the American people wanted to hear it or not. I would just tell them. I wouldn't be afraid to hammer a man like Barack Obama. Rod, you can get away with it because you black. I don't care what ethnic. I mean, I'm sure that at some point we're probably going to have an Asian and a Latino and some other, maybe a Native American. If our country's around long enough, we'll probably have these people. So, these ethnic people of these ethnic backgrounds and diversity running for the Oval Office. And some of them will win. I have no doubt. Now, will all this happen within our lifetime? If our country's still around for our grandchildren, I'd say by the 22nd century, that we will have others who are not black or white in the White House. Yeah, that's my prediction. By the year, because this is the 2000, so by the year 2100. It's kind of weird to say and think about, isn't it? Now, the other sad part, or the shocking part, I have said this before, and there have been people that have later said to me, I never really thought about that before, Rod, but you're right. So I know I'm right. That's why I said it. But 99.9% of us are not going to be here in the year 2112. Right now it's 2012. 99% of us are not going to be here in the year 2112, 100 years from now. It's just a fact that unless we find some way to significantly increase the longevity of the human being, we're not going to live that long. Now, because a lot of people under the sound of my voice are over the age of 20. So now you got to add 20 years to that 100. That's going to put you at 120 to, I think the oldest person I've ever, that I know of that has listened to the show, they've admitted they were 77. So, 177? 120 to 177 years old. How many people think they're going to be around at that age? Alive? Again, unless we have some fantastical medical advances in longevity, which science tells us, pretty much, the brain's capacity to live biologically maxes out at about 150. So even if we can place, our heart and liver and all that with mechanical stuff, can't replace the brain. It's who you are. So, the brain's going to just die one day. So that'll be it. So 150, 120 to 150 years. I think that's our biological max, at least right now. So 99% of us ain't going to be around. So that means it's going to be our posterity, what we leave behind. And frankly, you got to understand, it was just a heartbeat ago that it was 1912. And here we are 100 years later in the year 2012. And it's going to be a heartbeat away until it's before we know it, it's going to be 2112. So yeah, there's a lot that can happen. World War III, world could end. Maybe even more unlikely that we'd have world peace. No, mankind's been fighting since day one. I don't think in the next 100 years, unless we get attacked by some otherworldly, other outerworldly power that attacks this planet, mankind is not uniting under one government in the next 100 years. So we have to understand, what kind of government do we want to leave our kids? What kind of debt do we want to leave our grandkids? What type of country and legacy do we want to leave our great-great-grandkids? That's 2012, folks. That's 100 years away. That's not long. So could somebody who is not black or white be president of the United States within the next 100 years? Abso-freaking-lutely. But is this guy, is he going to go down in history as one of our good presidents? I think in the end, even most people who voted for him and even most people who say he's doing a good job